Actually, it does matter how people live because bad ideas have victims, and often those victims are children. In this short video, I'm going to be talking about kind of an attitude that I hear a lot of people have out in the public square. Honestly, I even heard my own teenage kids kind of express this sentiment at times. The idea that it doesn't really matter how another person acts, as long as it doesn't affect me, what difference does it make? People can believe whatever they want and they can basically do whatever they want. Well, we're going to be looking at one particular cultural lie today and thinking about this issue with the idea in mind that actually it does matter how people live because bad ideas have victims, and often those victims are children. So, to help illustrate this point, we're going to be looking at a tweet from our friend Katie Faust. The quote unquote gay marriage doesn't affect anyone else line is a lie. Leave it to Katie to go right in for the direct response right away. Since 2015, multiple states have endorsed the government sponsored lie that children have two mothers on birth certificates, legally erasing their father the day they are born. And of course, she's talking about the Supreme Court decision of Obergefell that nationalized and institutionalized gay marriage. The Uniform Parentage Act is being pushed in state after state, often under the guise of non discrimination for gay marriage. The UPA introduces a new and dangerous criteria for parenthood, the other legitimate definitions being biology and adoption. The UPA says that any adult who can assemble sperm, egg, and womb, and who has the quote unquote intent to parent, goes home with the baby. No screenings, no background checks, even if they're totally unrelated to the child. We already know child predators who have acquired children through these pathways. Infertility is being redefined. No longer is it, quote, 12 months of unprotected heterosexual sex that does not result in a live birth. Now, singles and same sex couples can be, quote unquote, infertile, thus conscripting insurance companies or the government the terrible aim of creating intentionally motherless and fatherless children. And here's the key to her whole argument. If you redefine marriage, you have redefined parenthood. When husbands and wives became optional in marriage, mothers and fathers became optional in parenthood. The problem is, from the child's perspective, their mother or father is never optional. Gay marriage is one of the greatest acts of injustice against our nation's children. Notice a couple of things about what Katie is saying here. First of all, I want you to notice that she's making an argument without using any biblical references. Katie uses what is called a natural law argument. And so she is trying to marshal a case against both gay marriage and surrogacy, not based on the Bible, although it is consistent and founded in the biblical definition of marriage and family and parenthood and that sort of a thing. She is trying to make a case that when you just adopt an attitude like so many did about gay marriage, well, live and let live. That's not anything that impacts my life. If some people want to redefine marriage a particular way, that's not my business. That's okay. It doesn't impact me. Okay. But what she wants you to notice is how when you concede on this one issue, it leads right into problems on a second issue, and the victims are children. So when you redefine marriage, you are effectively also at that same time redefining motherhood and fatherhood and making a space for children to have one of their parents erased. That children have a natural right to a mother and a father. And study after study shows this. As long as the studies are not specifically looking at gay parenting, study after study shows that the best pathway for a child for emotionally healthy development, for better socioeconomic hopes, is a two-parent home with a mother and a father. That's just the research. And what she's saying is that when you create a setup where there are surrogacy involved or there's a gay couple involved, and you have two parents and you have effectively erased either the mother or the father, you are victimizing the child to grow up without a mother or a father. Heavy stuff. But stuff for us to think about as Christians is, how will we marshal our arguments in the public square? How will we do that? And how will we be able to make our case to help our children understand that bad ideas have consequences? Sometimes those consequences have victims, and sometimes those victims are children. Thanks so much for watching.